Hey y'all, welcome to Criminally Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. Today is Saturday, June 1st, 2024, and this is episode 61. I'm Susan. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as Criminally Creative Podcast. Excuse me, I'm going to apologize right up front. There will be a little bit of coughing, probably some sniffling. I am getting over a cold that I've been struggling with the past week and maybe heading into sinus infection territory. We're not sure yet. But it has been a month since I recorded. I had planned to record middle of May and that just did not happen. So I wanted to get on before June got too far in and get this done. So if you're new, I appreciate you checking me out. If you are returning, I appreciate you coming back as always. And hopefully, new or returning, you will enjoy what you see and maybe be enabled by something or, just enjoy checking out what I've been up to. So, moving on to hearsay, the main reason I did not record in the middle of the month is work has gotten very busy. The weekend that I was planning to record was the end of a very busy week of work, and I just did not have the energy to do it. You'll see when I get to my May stats how much work has affected my crafting. Sorry. They're just in session and it's just been busy. I've also had a large project that I've had to work on outside of regular hours just to try to get it done in addition to the other stuff that I was working on. So that's about it really for work as far as anything I can tell you. But in addition to work, I had a couple of events this past month. So anyway, past couple of weeks. My mother-in-law turned 80 about mid-May, right after Mother's Day weekend. So the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend, we went down to their place, which is just outside of Charlotte, and my husband's cousin came in from Oregon, and my daughter and her family came up, and we just had a nice family lunch for her birthday and Mother's Day. Mother's Day for me, I saw my daughter on Saturday, so she texted me on Sunday. I talked to my son briefly on the phone Sunday. I spent 8 hours at work on Sunday, Mother's Day, which was my exciting Mother's Day. And then I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget anything. This last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, my middle niece, Kate, graduated from high school. So I took Friday of Memorial Day weekend off. My sister and her family flew in Thursday night. And so Friday, me, my sister, my mom, my sister-in-law, and all three nieces and one of their cousins who is an adult and has kids of her own, all went out and had lunch and got mani-pedis, which was nice girl time. And then Saturday, Kate graduated in the morning. We did not actually go to this graduation ceremony because they had limited tickets, but they had a party for her in the afternoon. So we went to that and hung out with everybody and got to see a lot of my sister-in-law's extended family that we don't see very often. And so that was fun. I'm excited for Kate. She's graduated and is going on to NC State in the fall. My oldest niece, Maddie, her sister, is transferring from UNC Charlotte to NC State in the fall. So they will both be at NC State. And then this past week, my youngest niece, Caroline, just graduated from 8th grade. I was supposed to go to that Thursday night, but because of this cold, I ended up just coming straight home and resting. And then I ended up actually taking yesterday off work to just lay around and rest, trying to get rid of this crud because while this has been kind of a quiet week at work because of the holiday weekend last weekend, next week's going to pick back up. And I know if I'm not over most of this that it will only get worse. So you could probably tell by my voice that I'm draining and stuff. So anyway, that was it. We've had just a few milestones this month and overall, a nice month other than, just work. So, but that's normal for this time of year. So anyway, we'll move on to the crafting. First up is verdicts. I have one verdict this month, and it's probably one that you would expect. I finished December Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art. And this is the last of the Quaker series I have been doing one a month of since last June. I started doing these for my friend Julia's 70th birthday celebration, 7 on the 8th for Julia. But I continued doing one a month after her birthday was in December, and I just continued doing one a month to finish up the series. So this was the last one. I did this on 40 Count Sandy Toes by Barefoot Needle Art. The green and the brighter red are the called for Classic Colorworks. I also added Classic Colorworks bandana for the word December and that bottom right motif red, just to add a little bit of deeper tonal red to it. If I had thought ahead of time, I probably would have maybe done like maybe this heart and maybe one of these hearts in that deeper red too, but it just didn't occur to me at the time. So, but anyway, so now all of those are done. I will have to find some time at some point to finish them all. Don't hold your breath. It's definitely not going to be this month. It probably will not, unless I just get a wild hair. It's not going to be until probably early fall once work settles down a little bit more. Excuse me. So that is it for the verdicts, and we'll move on to court is in session. First up is knitting. I have worked a little bit on my socks. I'm doing these, as always, I do my socks on US 0 2mm needles. I'm doing this as a Gales Art sock blank, a double knit sock blank in the colorway Big O. And I didn't show these to you last time, I don't think, but I turned the heels last night, so I thought I'd show you where I am. So this is the foot, and I did the heel. I tried a new heel called, let me look at my notes to make sure I get it right, What the Heel Roomy Short Row Heel by Tai Bueno. The first name is Thais Bueno. I'm not sure if that's pronounced Thai like Thai food or if the S makes it sound differently. But my friend Ann had told me about this heel, and it's very similar to the Fish Lips Kiss heel that I usually do, but it has a little extra wedge that's supposed to be a little bit roomier and make it fit a little better. I will say that rows 14 through 16 of the instructions are not extremely clear. I had to text Ann and make sure I was understanding properly what to do. So just fair warning if you try it, that just pay particular attention to those rows and kind of visualize what it's saying, because it works. It just, the way it's written is not the easiest to understand in my opinion. We will see once I get those finished how I like that heel, if it makes, if it fits. I like the way the Fish Lips Kiss heel fits, but I thought I would just try that one and see. So, and then the other knitting project that I have been working on is the Bounce Baby Blanket by Tin Can Knits. I'm knitting this on US 7 4.5mm needles in Universal Yarn Cotton Supreme in the colorways Gray, Ocean, and Apricot. So you can see the gray is between each of the blue and the apricot. So this is a blanket for a friend whose daughter just had my friend's first grandson. And I just thought it would be nice to make them a blanket. And I don't even really know the daughter, but she can give it to the daughter, or she can keep it at her house for when the grandson's visiting. And that's it for the knitting. So we will move on to the cross stitch. Pardon me. So I thought I'd give you, got to put glasses on to read this, a few stats for May. In May, I stitched 12,882 stitches. I stitched 25 days and 59 and a half hours. That is about 25 hours less than I have stitched the first 4 months, each of the first 4 months of this year. So that's, when we get to further on, you'll see where that came out as far as less time, less stitching. I think I had last month in April, I had 18,000 stitches. So that's about a little over 5,000 plus stitches less than last month. So I did stitch on 14 projects. I began the month with 89 whips. I started 5 things. I finished 1, and I ended the month with 93 whips. So still under 100, but we'll see. So let's show you what I worked on. First up is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. This is the project, and if you're new here, as always, I will be posting, as I talk, I will put up a picture of what the project will look like when it's finished. And then if it's not a new start, you will see a picture of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. So One Nation is the project that I divided into 12 for the year and to finish it by the end of the year. And so here, well, getting caught on the bag. Here is where it is. And so I did this little chunk right here is what I did, these 3 rows down. So I'm working my way across, and then there are 3 more rows down here that I will work across the rest of the year after this one's done. So that was, I think when I recorded last, it was like the 3rd day of May. So I had done a little bit of this for May already. So I did an additional 699 stitches since you last saw it, and a total of 1,044 stitches in May. This is on the called for 28 count Picture This Plus Ale. And I started that on January 22nd of 2021. So we'll get that finished this year. Next up is my full coverage piece that I am putting 2,000 stitches per month in this year, and this is Kingdom of Books. It is a kit from Make It With Your Own Hands. It was a Russian kit. I'm not sure if you can get it at the moment. Several people are, like Brenda Handwork Maniac, are doing this on a different fabric so as not to do the background. I started this back in August of 2016 when I was just coming back in a cross stitch and really had not done anything other than Ada at that point in my life. So I am using the kit, fabric, floss, everything, doing it as called for, which means I'm stitching the entire background, 3 strands on most of it. I don't hate it, to be quite honest, other than the margins are a little tight on the fabric. So you'll see I've got some extra fabric stitched on so it fits in my Q-snap. And this is where I am currently. I started in the middle and I'm working over to the left side. And what I did this time is mainly, it was most of this. I think when I finished April, I had like maybe, I think a little bit of this right here, but this right here is where I worked in May. And I did 2,077 stitches. I'm currently at 33.2% on this. I have scanned this and put it in markup. I watched a floss tube recently, and I can't remember who it was. It was a newer floss tube, and I didn't write it down. Said they had bought the PDF, but when I have looked online, the only PDFs I can find are from websites that are obviously stealing artwork stealing patterns. If anybody is aware of a legitimate copy via PDF, that would be great. I've made it work in markup. I just had to scan multiple, certain pages multiple times, and I've blocked it off and stuff. So that 33.2% might not be 100% accurate if I haven't quite gotten everything unselected that's not supposed to be done, as long as I don't have duplicates, but it's a rough idea for me. Next up is the project that I'm doing as my Sunday stitch. This is a Stitch a Day by Morning Glory Needleworks. I started this on January 7th, 2024. Excuse me, I'm doing this on 28 Count Lugana by Mystic in the colorway Time Worn. I'm actually a week behind on this. I did not work on it last Sunday. So tomorrow I will need to catch up 2 weeks worth. I did 499 stitches on this in May. So that's 3 Sundays of Monday, 3 Sundays of May done, but not the 4th. There are a couple places I've realized I've been following. So this is a paper chart and I have not scanned it because of the way it is. There is a like grid that you can look at that shows the colors, but there is, because it's different stitches every time, there's just pages and pages of this stitch, this stitch, this stitch. And that's what I'm following. And it tells you what colors to use, except I have realized at least twice after I've already done the wrong color that the color number was not quite right for what the pattern picture looks like. Because like if you look at, you notice that like the blues going a diagonal here. The outside box colors is going diagonal. And at least one, like this one, see that light pink should have been a light blue. I didn't even really notice till I'd already done the light pink. I'm leaving it. And there's one more. Oh, this blue right here, I think should be like the green. This blue box outside should be some other color. I can't remember which one in order for it to go down right, but whatever. I'm leaving it. It's not like a, you know, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. It might become the side of a project bag or something. Who knows? But, I mean, I'm enjoying doing it. But it's not something that the end result is something I really, like, want to be on my wall or anything. I think I told you I did 499 stitches on that in a month. Next up is the Mill Hill kit that I'm working on. I do Mill Hill Monday. I'm currently working on Pinecone Gnome. And Mill Hill Monday does not have to be a Mill Hill. It just want a Mill Hill type kit. Right now it's a Mill Hill and has been for a while. I will say that I missed 2 Mondays in May because I was at work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night and did not have time by the time I got home at 11 or 12 to stitch. But I did work on this 2 Mondays, and that's where I am. I have finished all of the cross stitching on this, so I need to go in and do the back stitching and then the beading. So hopefully this Monday I will get a chance to work on it. I don't know. Mondays tend to be a day that I have to work late frequently. So we'll see what happens with that. But I did 276 stitches on that in May. I started that April 1st, 2024. My current Halloween type project that I'm working on for this quarter, and trying to put at least 400 stitches in a month, really hoping to get at least 1,000 stitches a month. This one is Sugar Skull Cat by Stitchora. This was in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, Halloween 2023. I did not get the 1,000 this month. I only did 449 stitches because that was, in order to at least hit my minimum on my goals, I just didn't have the time this time to get to it. So, but you can I did fill a lot more of that face in. I think I said I did 449 stitches. I am currently at 24.5%. I started this August 14th of 2023. I started this with a birthday start for Sebastian of Bees and Tea Stitching. He's not recorded in a long time. If anybody knows Sebastian and knows that he's okay, I would appreciate knowing that. I just, you know, he kind of disappeared, so I just, not that I know him personally and I have any right to know anything about what's going on in his life. I'm just, you know, wondering if everything's okay. So, so I have one more month on that. I think January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, this will be the 3rd month that I will work on that. And then in July, I'll switch to a new Halloween project. And then last up in my like monthly planned stuff is my Long Dog Leap Day start, which was Anzac. And I just got this one in. I just finished my goal on this is 600 stitches a month, which should get me a finish by Leap Day of 2028. Just got the 600 stitches finished on this last night. So, just under the wire. And that's where I am. I'm doing this on 40 count Lars fabric in Brain Fog. And I did 608 stitches this month. I am now at 9.2%. So I got all the way over across the top. This is the full width of the piece. Did a little bit up here. Then came back over here and worked a little bit more last night. I'm really liking this color. The floss is Silks For You, mostly in PR 038, this variegated charcoal green and blue. I will do some just more green and then a little bit of bright blue and yellow in a couple of places. So, but the bulk of it is in that variegated PR 038, which I'm really liking. I am trying to figure out though, like, let me see if I can fold this over so I can show it and see what I'm showing you. Like right up here, this is like a little animal, and there's some back stitching that needs to go to create like the antenna and legs and stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what color to do that in, because I did the back stitching over here in the variegated because it was on fabric. But I don't know that the variegated is going to show up in all places right there. So I may do that in the bright blue. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to kind of keep up with the back stitching as I go. One, so I don't miss any place. And two, just so I don't have it all left to do at the end. I'm not showing you bags right now because I've shown you most of these before, so I'll skip that for now in the interest of time. Okay, May Whip Go calls. There were 3 Whip Go calls in May because the free space was called, and I had assigned something in that space. My Whip Go goal is usually 10 hours per project, but as I mentioned before, I stitched 25 hours less than I normally do this past month. So it became apparent by about mid-month that there was no way I was going to get 10 hours on all of them. So my board, my rules, I decided for the month of May, my goal was 5 hours on each project. So that's what I did. I mean, some of them got a little more than 5, but none of them got more than 6 because that was just what I had time to do. First up is Across Winter Lake. And actually, I will show you this bag. This is a brass button bag, just because you haven't seen this project in a while. This is Across Winter Lake. This is a Gecko Rouge kit based on artwork by Joe Grundy. Sorry, I'm relocating my needle. Let me get this face in the right way. I'm doing this on 25 count even weave 1/1. I started this December 7th, 2020. This is, I did 827 stitches in May, was what 5 hours got me. This one is, as you can see, lots and lots of confetti, so this one takes a little longer. And mostly what I did was I filled in up here and did some more down here. And I am currently at 5.8% on this. So it's going to be a while. I have a couple of more, at least one more, maybe 2 more Gecko Rouge kits of Joe Grundy's artwork. I really like her artwork. So maybe they'll get done eventually. My next Whip Go call was Halloween Sampler by Teresa Kogut. I am doing this. I went a little different on this one. I'm doing this on 40 count Fiber on a Whim in the Cypress colorway. So green instead of the like neutral background that it was designed in. I'm also doing this with the Vicky Clayton silk conversion. And so this is where I got to. 5 hours got me 1,235 stitches. and I'm currently at 3.4%. I started this October 1st of 2023. And so far, I'm liking it on the green. I think it's, you know, it's a mood, but I like it. And this one is in a bag by Sheba Designs. And then my third Whip Go Call, which is in a bag that I made, is 272 words by Primrose Needleworks. This is the Gettysburg Address. I started this November 19th of 2023. If you don't know, the Gettysburg Address was on November 19th. Trying to find where the actual stitching is. I'm doing this on 40 count Grace Notes Molly. And here we go. 5 hours got me some decent progress. I did 1,308 stitches. I'm currently at 9.5%. So I'm going to, next time I work on this, I think I'm going to work over here and try to get, I want to get the full width done so that I can cut off the excess fabric. This is, I think it's a 1/2 yard that I bought because I needed something. It needed to be a little bigger than a fat quarter, but I don't need the full 1/2 yard. So I think next time I'll try to get over to that corner so I can know how wide I have to go. And that was all my Whip Goes for May. Also, May was Mania. Excuse me. And my Mania this year, as it has been the last few years, is to start a new project every weekend. Usually on Saturday, but there was at least one that I think I did on Friday. Excuse me. My first start was No Time Like the Present by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is this year's Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. I am not in any way, shape, or form going to try to keep up with it as a stitch along. I've talked to you about these patterns before. I did the 2021 stitch along, and I did it in 3750, which is this navy-ish color, and a lighter kind of Williamsburg-y blue. I can't remember the number of it. I don't remember what the number was. So I wanted to do this one and one of my other starts that you'll see, which is also Modern Folk Embroidery, using 3750 in both to be consistent for the darker and just changing up the lighter colors. So for this one, I am doing, well, let me show you. Here's what I've done so far. My goal on all my new starts is at least 500 stitches. I did 501 stitches on this, which is 1.4%. I started this on May 4th. And you can see, so you can see the 3750 and then the 3810, which will be most of it. And then I'm also adding 783, this gold, for, sorry, my mom's calling. Let me decline this call. I'm adding like the suns or the moons, certain elements I'm adding that gold in, just certain places. I could show, actually, I'll cut this part out. I can show you in my markup because I marked it up with the trying to get big enough so you can see. So you can see in my markup where I'm doing the yellow on the moons and the numbers and that hourglass just below. I'm I may, if I get going, I may decide to add it a couple of little places, but we'll see. Right now, that's the plan. So, sorry. Okay, so that was that. And then the next weekend, that was the weekend that we were going to Charlotte, and I knew I was going to have to work. So I did a smaller start, and I started A Day for Freedom by Stitches by Ethel. I got a string hanging off here. I started this on May 10th on 28 count Lugana. I think this colorway is mushroom, but I'm not 100% sure. I got this from Stitch Point in Greensboro, and at the time that I bought it, her tag had fallen off, and we were guessing what the colorway is. So it may not be mushroom, but it is 28 count Lugana. And I got that flag done, and I did 588 stitches, which is 31.9%. I really like the crow in that. I like her little designs with the crow and the mouse. And then the next weekend, on May 18th, I started Reaching Skyward from Modern Folk Embroidery. This was the 2023 Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. And I'm also doing this on 40 count Antique White. Again, with 3750 as the dark color. And then I am using 3835, which is kind of a pinky purpley color, as the other color. And I did 515 stitches. And let me forget the bag and just do this. So that's where I am on that. And that is 1.1%. So that is a bigger pattern. Sorry about the hair that was hanging across it. And then, last but not least, last weekend I started When Santa's Away by With Thy Needle and Thread. Started this on May 25th. This is on 32 count Fabrics by Stephanie and Toasted Almond. I did 572 stitches, which is 16.8%. And I got the little Santa Mouse done. It is really cute. I am doing this with mostly the called for, except for, I think, 3 of the flosses. Yeah, when I kitted this up, I bought this and kitted it up at, it's the place in Brookneal, Virginia. I can't think of the name of it right now. Like Southern Stitches is what I want to say, but I'm not sure that's right. I'll put it across the bottom of the screen. And so I kitted up there, and she did not have 3 of the called for flosses, so I am substituting Weeks Dye Works Pebble for the Classic Colorworks Pebble Beach, Classic Colorworks Cherry Wine for the Classic Colorworks Cherry Ribbon, Classic Colorworks Ribbon Red. And then I did choose to do Classic Colorworks Cherry Bark for DMC 3777, just to give it a little bit deeper red. So, very similar to the called for on those 3, but not exactly the same. So that is all of my stitching for May. Excuse me. On the docket, obviously it's not January 1st, it's June 1st. So beginning of the month, have not stitched yet today, but I'll have all my monthly, goals: One Nation, Kingdom of Books, Anzac, Sugar Skull Cat. My My June Whip Go calls are Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studio and Winter Cabin, which is a Dimensions kit. I am hoping to get 10 hours on both of those, especially Let Freedom Ring, because I started that end of last year and I've only got like the 500 stitches on it. I need to do my Tiny Town Round Robin piece and get that mailed by the end of June. And I really would like to finish Autumn Seaside this month. I was not able to get that at all in May. And I think if I could just get a block of time, I could finish that. I have finished all the Quakers, which was taking, 10 to 13, 14 hours a month. So that hopefully will free up some extra time to work on some things that are not my goals. I'm already thinking about goals for next year because my goals for each month are taking up most of my stitching time and I'm not getting to other projects and I don't like that. So I'm already trying to figure out, I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep to my goals for the year. I will stick to what I've planned to do for the year, but I'm already trying to figure out how to do things next year to still do Whip Go, because I like the kind of every month telling me a couple pieces to work on. I might adjust the goal that I use for Whip Go in some way, and then keep, it's hard to decide because I kind of like having the piece broken up into 12, and I like having the full coverage piece that I do a little bit on every month, but I'm just not getting to other projects, and I have I have 93 projects now, so I got to figure out a way to more frequently move through stuff. So that maybe that means smaller goals for the monthly goal stuff, or I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. So if anybody has a great plan for getting through almost 100 whips and trying to touch most of it every year, I mean, if I don't touch every single piece every year, it's not the end of the world, but I don't want to not touch half of them. So, which right now this year, it kind of looks like that might happen unless something changes. So we'll see. Anyway, so that is it on the docket. We'll move on to stashing for retirement. I did buy a few things this month. I have a couple, actually, I should have gone to the mailbox. My Bestitch Me May fabric is in the mailbox because it arrived yesterday, but I took the day off sick and was too lazy to walk down there. I haven't gone to get it yet. So you'll get to see that next time. I got my monthly fabric from Stitch New England, Atomic Ranch. I get 40 count, and it was Mellow Stone this month, which is just a very nice tanny. It's showing up, I think, a little more yellowy green than it quite is. It's really kind of a yellowy tan. So I got that. Also from Stitch New England, I got the number 6 in the Fabulous Houses, the Tree House. I love that one. And I always get whatever Fancy Floss is called for that one. I placed an order with Stitch New England. When I got most of the other fall buttons and beads from her, I had not gotten this one, but I had to go back and get it because it was so cute. I may actually do that one on fabric instead of perforated paper. We'll see. That is called Nutty Squirrels. I got the Log Cabin Fox from the current Little House Needleworks Christmas Quilt Mountain. What's it called? Log Cabin Christmas series. This is number 3, I think. Yep. And then, because, I just have to shop. I bought the 12 Days of Christmas Stockings by Annie B's Folk Art. I'm trying to decide, I might want to do these on something other than black or charcoal. I just can't decide what yet. So I need to pull all the floss and see what would look good on them. I'm wondering if with maybe some color changes, if like a deep green or something would work. Ooh, maybe that soft fur from last year's Atomic Ranch. Maybe, I'll see. I also ordered, she had 2 of the Bent Creek Haunted House are these snappers. She had the guest house and the house. And I've had these on my wish list at 1, 2, 3 Stitch for a while. So I bought these two. And then I went to 1, 2, 3 Stitch and bought the Petrified Party, which is the full frame. And then got Newt. So now I have that full set. Don't know when I'll do it. And then a separate order from Stitch New England. Brenda Gervais with the neon thread came out with this grand old flag too. And of course I had to have that. And I bought the tartan plaid that is supposed to be that blue. I may not use that blue. We'll see. Because it's more green. And then she was also doing, they had I think an Atomic Ranch trunk show. And did a kind of a sale on fabrics before they shipped them back. And it was like a mystery. You told them how many you wanted, but you didn't, and what count you wanted, but you didn't get to choose your colors. So I am trying to improve my 32 count Lugana stash. So I got 2 32 count Luganas, and I got eucalyptus, which I love, and nutmeg, which I don't hate. It's just not using my usual color palette, so I'm not sure what I use it for, but you know, it's good to have some things outside the comfort zone in the stash for when you need that something different. And then when I ordered the other Haunted House ones from 1, 2, 3 Stitch, I finally got Winds of Autumn Blackbird book, which I have been looking at for a long time and just had not bought. I love, this one is my favorite, Mighty Acorn. So I definitely want to do that at some point. I also really like the first Winds of Autumn. Sorry, the chart's on the other page, so I'm trying to be sure I don't show you that. There's several of them. Oh, the other one is this. Well, where is it? There it goes. Spell of the Moon. So, and then this will probably, I don't know if I'm going to do this as a giveaway in the future, or I ordered Patriotic Santa by Sue Hillis Designs because I still had this on a list that I needed it. And when I bought it and went to go look, I actually realized that I already had bought it. I saw this at StitchCon 2022 when I went as a model, and they were out of the chart. And I thought, oh, I'll get that later. And I still had it on a list somewhere to get later, and apparently I had gotten it and forgotten to take it off the list. So I now have 2 copies of this, but it's not the only thing I've realized I have 2 copies of. So we'll see what happens with those. Also for one of the reasons I was ordering for 1, 2, 3 Stitch is I am sometime in the next couple months, maybe for my June start, I haven't decided yet, I'm going to start Amid Amish Life, which is the 3-part series that was originally in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts back in like the 80s. And that's the way I have it, is the 3 magazines. I think there was a book that was published that was like patterns from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts that you could also get it in. So I ordered a couple of 32 count Luganas to possibly do that on. And I wanted a light blue because there is a little bit of the sky that is not stitched. And so I got Fiber on a Whim Cornflower, which I do really like. And then I just got a 32 count light blue Lugana Zygarde. And I think this is what I'm actually going to use, because it's really just a little bit of the sky. The rest of it is almost full coverage. And so I don't really want to use a hand dyed, and I'd rather use a hand dyed for something you'll see more of. So let's see what else. Only a couple other things. I ordered a few floss drops from, I pulled up the name. Where is it? The Cottage Cat Designs. I was watching the Hathaway Stitchers, Erin and Amity, and Erin had bought some of these, and so I thought I'd give them a try. And so I got these Halloween's ones, which are kind of small, and these are 20 count. These are like double thick cardstock, so they're good and sturdy. So I got those little Halloween ones, and then a little bit bigger, I got these floral ones and these patriotic ones. And there's the patriotic ones and the floral. There's a few little different designs in there. They're not all identical, but, you know, it's like 3 or 4 designs. So, looking forward to giving those a try. And the last thing, my friend Michelle went to Scrap Exchange in Durham, which is a really cool place that it's like scraps for craft supplies. And she found this bag of, like, Zweigart samples that somebody had, you know, donated. It was like $1.50. So, it was really interesting. Like, this looks like, they're all labeled. So, it's a 14 count ivory easy grid. And these are not huge pieces. They're just, you know, sample pieces. But there's stuff to do stuff on. Honeybee 14 count Victorian blue. So, that would be, you know, do something in the middle, I guess, and make it a pillow. This one, oh, there it is. 20 count Lugana in new khaki. A piece of 14 count mesh interlock canvas. Belfast linen 32 count in toasted almond. And then this is an 11 count oatmeal country damask. So the Ada grid is 11 count, and then you've got the little printed pattern around it. So, I mean, I appreciate getting for $1.50. You know, it's little pieces to maybe do something with. So, I thought that was pretty neat. And that is it, except, well, I did one only other thing for Stashing for Retirement. I have not really bought any other patterns, but I did finally subscribe to Just Cross Stitch magazine because I finally figured out how to do a digital only subscription. I don't know if it was just me not seeing it. I had been there a couple times and I kept seeing that you could get a digital subscription, but I couldn't find the link to actually get just a digital subscription, not get the magazine plus the digital. And I just didn't want the magazines because I want the PDFs, and it was just extra. So, I did sign up for the digital subscription for Just Cross Stitch, which also gave me like the last 2 years of subscriptions digital. And so that's going to let me get rid of I have a couple of the last couple years issues in hard copy that I will probably take to my next stitching event for the giveaway table or whatever. We'll see. Anyway, so that's it for Stashing for Retirement. Calendar, work for the next couple of months. My next crafting event that I'm aware of is August. I will be at North Meets South Needlework Showcase in the DC area. That's being hosted by Barefoot Needle Art and Stitch New England. That is August 8th through 11th. And then I will also be at the Barefoot Needle Art Beach Retreat, October 4th through 6th. Those are the 2 things that I'm aware of. I imagine I'll probably be in the Asheville area around the SAF time. And I've got a group of friends that might be going to the beach area in November just to hang out with a few friends. But we are also, the Wyoming-Montana trip is back on. I am actively planning. I booked our flights the other night. I have reserved us a rental car. That's as far as I've gotten. I'm currently looking at places to stay and things to do. So if you have any suggestions for Glacier National Park, Yellowstone National Park, or Grand Teton National Park, or Cody, Wyoming, we are probably going to spend a day in Cody, Wyoming. Please let me know. Leave them in the comments below. You can email me, message me on Instagram, whatever. Send me links. I think I've found the place that we're probably going to stay in Glacier. I just haven't booked it yet. I'm trying to spread out the, booking the airline tickets was a drop of change. So, just paid those off the credit card. So I was trying to wait till the next time I'm making a payment on the credit card to, book the next drop. But because I know that like the place we're looking at in Glacier requires like half of it's a B&B, so it requires half the amount as a deposit or something like that. So anyway, any suggestions on that trip would be appreciated. So and the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to do a couple of shout outs for FlossTubers that I've been watching lately. I have not had as much time to watch FlossTube lately, but there's a couple that I have caught up on. Most of these I think you're probably aware of, but you never know. I sometimes hear about FlossTubers that I find out everybody's watching and I've never heard of all of a sudden. Pam, who is the owner of Stitch New England, has a floss tube called Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, and she just dropped a new episode, I think yesterday. She does one about once a month. Love to watch her. I also have enjoyed keeping up with Caroline from Caroline's Stitch Corner. She is in Austria. I spent a summer in Austria when I was an undergraduate, and so it's just interesting. Even though she doesn't really talk about Austria much, she just talks about her stitching. I just like to hear her talk, and I enjoy seeing what she's stitching on. And she is I would say relatively new stitcher in that I think she just started stitching in the past year or two. But she's very enthusiastic and has got a wide variety of projects, and I really like seeing what she's working on. Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, she just had knee surgery, and is retiring from being an 8th grade history teacher. But I enjoy seeing what she's working on. And then a new one that you may not be aware of is Kira. She is the Sea Dragon's Lair. I'm going to link all these below. She, apparently I met Kira in the past year or so through Barefoot Needle Art, and was not aware until recently. She had done floss tubes, I think, a couple years ago and had not for a couple years, but she has started again recently and has done 2 or 3. I'm not completely caught up on her recent ones, but I think at least 2, if not 3, in the last month or 2. So check her out. And then some other ones that I'm sure everybody's watches that I just enjoy. I'm not necessarily caught up on. Laura Stitching by the Shore, Vicky from Stitch and Button, and Tara Sullivan. I've enjoyed, Tara Sullivan has been doing like a highlight of designers on most of her episodes, and I've enjoyed looking at and just showing the patterns she has done or has, and I've enjoyed watching that a lot. So there are tons more that I'll enjoy watching. I can't always keep up with everybody, so next time I'll try to highlight some new ones. But again, I think that's about it. If you enjoyed watching me, or if you stuck out this long, I appreciate you staying this long. If you enjoyed what you're seeing, I appreciate if you would like and subscribe. And I plan, hopefully, to record sometime around the weekend of the 15th, the middle of the month again, instead of waiting till the end of the month. We'll see how it goes. But if you don't see me, hopefully by the end of the month, it just depends on how crazy work gets. So with that, I think that's everything, and I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk with you later. Bye, y'all.